Hi everybody, it's Yasmin here. How you going? Coming to you live and direct from my meditation room, where I can't really show you that much, but I'm doing my course in yantras online, and I've got all this amazing stuff in here now. I wish I could show you. I don't know if you can see it, but it's down there. I'm not supposed to move it now for the 10 days of the course. We're doing, let me just tell you what we're doing. It's really fun. We're doing a special chant, which invokes the Bij mantra sounds for 3 goddesses, which comprise the goddess Narayani. So it's Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Durga. So we're doing, it's got 6 Bij mantra sounds in there, I think. And every single time we do it, we put down a cardamom pod onto our yantra, which I showed you the other day, but I can't show you right now. Yeah, no, it's really amazing, actually. It's very interesting, and some really interesting sort of cosmic things happening, cosmic messages coming to me. It's just so interesting when you kind of, you know, give yourself over to some kind of spiritual practice. It doesn't matter who you are. You do not have to be anyone special in particular, because we're all special, you know, and that's one of the messages I've been getting. And in fact, the other day when we had, on Friday, I think it was, I took a card and we got this card, which was Own Your Divine Power. And I've been thinking about it over the weekend, you know, what did that card mean? It was such an unusual card. And I realized what it is. It's a message to all of us to realize that we are all divine, you know, and it's not, and I remember when I interviewed Deepak Chopra back in the day in 1999. So what happened was I was living in Sydney, Australia, and I just had a breakup. It wasn't like the breakup from hell that I've mentioned a few times. It was another breakup, which wasn't anywhere near so horrible. But, you know, breakups are never nice. And I was feeling quite sorry for myself. And, you know, I was just like, I was driving up Liverpool Street in Sydney. If those of you who know it, is it Liverpool Street or Liverpool Road? I think it's Street. And I saw all these posters that they had on one of the walls there, and it was all Deepak Chopra coming to Sydney, Louise Hay coming to Sydney, the guy who wrote the Celestine Prophecies, whose name escapes me right now, coming to Sydney. And it was 1999, and I remember looking at them going, oh wow, they're coming to Sydney, blimey. And I was a full-time freelance journalist at the time. So I worked out who was promoting the show. You know, you have promoters of these things. And it was an amazing man who I'm still in touch with. I emailed him as recently as last week, called Leon Naxon. Now, hands up if you know who Leon Naxon is. He is the head of Hay House Australia, but he wasn't at the time. He was actually, I don't think he'd started with Hay House at that point. And I went in to see him. Oh no, maybe, I honestly, I don't remember. It was around that time he started with Hay House and became the CEO or whatever it is of Hay House Australia. Anyway, so I went in to see him. I'm like, you know what, Leon, I'm a journalist. I'm on the spiritual path. I've been meditating for probably about a year at that point. You know, I'm trying to do really good articles, not like the crappy articles I was doing in the old days about things like, for the UK audience who'll get this, you know, when Daniela Westbrook's nose collapsed from too much cocaine. That's a bit random for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, but it was things like that where I was being asked to do articles that weren't really lighting me up, as they say. Anyway, so I said, "What, Leo? What about if I go to America? I'll interview Deepak Chopra. I mean, the cheek of it, really. I'll interview Deepak Chopra. I'll interview Louise Hay. I'll interview James Redman, who's the guy who wrote the Celestine Prophecies, and I'll write about them for, you know, Australian newspapers and magazines. I'll pay my way, but I'll make the money back by selling the articles when I get back from the trip, or, you know, while I'm actually, I'll pre-sell them." And he was like, absolutely no problem. He got me access to Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay, James Redman, who I interviewed in Alabama. Louise Hay, I interviewed her at her house in San Diego, and Deepak Chopra I had 4 months with. Sorry, 4 months. I had 4 hours with. I think, well, maybe 3 or 4 hours with, one-on-one, just me and Deepak talking really intensely for, I think it was 3 hours. I said 4, but I think it was 3 hours. And my whole entire life changed after that. And I always thought Deepak reprogrammed my brain somehow in our 3-hour chat, because, I don't know, I just felt like he did. And my whole life changed. My income in the 12 months after that quadrupled. I mean, it quadrupled. That's a lot of increase. And I always felt it was as a result of this trip. But one of the things that Deepak said to me, which is what I'm leading up to with this card about not giving away our power, you know, it was actually 2 things. One is that I sent the article that I was writing about Deepak to Deepak to check before I published it, because I think he'd asked me to do that, or it was, maybe it was something else. Anyway, and all he said was, take out the word, it's a great article, take out the word guru. He never wanted to be called guru, which just means teacher. And another thing he said to me was, you know, that everybody can do what he does, you know. And he told me this long involved story about how he'd manifested certain things, and I said, okay, can anybody do that? And he said yes. He said I Deepak can do it a bit more easily, because I live this is my whole life, but everybody can do this. And I think this was one of the messages, you know, that this card is about. Own your divine power. You know, like, don't ever think that somebody else is the key to your ability to do anything. You know, people sometimes write to me and say, oh, I really want to manifest, you know, whatever, you know. I mean, quite often it's a baby or, you know, I want to manifest getting back with my ex or whatever. And I will always say to them, you know, yes, I'll say a prayer for you, you know, and I'll say a prayer on the spot, but it's you that does it. It's all of us. We all have this ability. And I think that's a really important message for everybody right now, including me. So that was interesting. And a lot of people said this card resonated with them. And I was like, oh, I don't get this card. What does this card mean? It's really weird. So I thought about it all weekend. And I think that's what it is. It's about not giving away your power to anybody else. Now, it may not be that you're giving away your power to, you know, Deepak Chopra or whatever, you know, but it's about realizing that we are all divine. It may be you're giving away your power to your partner, or, you know, your ex, or your kids, or, you know, your best friend, or whatever. But this card, you know, all these cards get pulled for a reason. And the more I just want to go, oh, that card's not for me, the more I know that that card is for me. So it would be the same for you. The more you know, you know, and I know that, you know, you might say, okay, well, you know, how come then if, you know, we all have to own our divine power, why is it me that's sitting here on Facebook Live, you know, creating a Facebook Live that will eventually reach probably around 10,000 people? You know, that's a lot. That's how far out these go over the course of 24 hours. And it's like, well, it's because I have Venus and Mars in Gemini, and I am fine to sit here and blather away. But anybody could do this, you know. And I said this at the start of lockdown. Whatever you've got to offer, offer it up. You know, offer it up. Own your divine power to help other people. We can all help other people. You know, we all have something we can do. I mean, I've got one friend, in fact, I've got 2 friends who are doing this, but the one I'm thinking of, you know, she is quite a modest person. She's gorgeous, and she's got an amazing figure, and she'll get into the most amazing fancy dress clothes and things. She's not a shrinking violet or anything, but she's never going to put herself up doing something like I'm doing right now, which is getting up and, you know, chatting to loads and loads of people. But to me, I love doing this. That's why I do it. So if you love to do things like this, do it. But with this friend of mine, you know, she, for example, she's doing something else. She's actually doing something for the NHS. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but it's like emergency phone calls. So you log on, and if somebody really needs your help, your phone rings, and then you have a chat. It's a bit like probably a crisis line or something like that people do. You know, that's something you can do, you know, and it might not seem as, you know, fabulous as getting on Facebook Live and you know, getting to chat to people around the world, but it's at least as powerful, if not more so, because you're actually helping people one-on-one. So think about what you can do. You know, can you send remote Reiki to someone who needs it? Or can you start a remote Reiki circle where you all get online and you all send Reiki out into the world? Because Lord knows we all need Reiki right now. So anyway, that was my rant for the day, and I hope no one's too disappointed, but I'm actually not going to do another card today. Because I feel like that card was so powerful, I'm doing it twice. So the card for the day is Own Your Divine Power. Okay? What are your powers? In fact, put them in the comments. What are your powers? Okay? So we are headed for the new moon eclipse, and it's a powerful, powerful time. You know, are you ready for the fact there is a new moon eclipse coming? A new moon eclipse is a time to reset life, you know? Like, think of it like this, okay, to use this card, but think of it like a springboard. And the new moon eclipse is like this, and then like, boom, ping, where do you want to go in life? All right, the new moon eclipse is about having a restart. So are you ready for a restart? You know, and that doesn't just mean, okay, we're all going to go out to the pub again because the pubs are open. You know, it's I mean, it does mean that a bit as well, probably, but it also means a restart in life, you know, and even my really non-cosmic friends are saying, you know, aren't you going to do things differently after lockdown, Yasmin? I'm like, yeah, I think so. You know, like everybody feels it. You don't have to be on the spiritual path to be thinking, I want to do something new with my life after lockdown. So think about it. Now, let me just say, regarding my Eclipse Masterclass, we have had thousands of people sign up for the registration of interest. We've actually had to upgrade our software because we've actually got nearly 4,000 people who've already said they're going to come to the masterclass. Now, of course, a lot of people won't make it on the day. They'll watch the replay, which there's a replay. So if you have already registered your interest, you should have had an email on the weekend saying registration is now open. So if you haven't got it yet, go and find the email and go and register for the masterclass, because seats will fill up. They already did once. So all you have to do is it's free to anyone who buys a copy of my Moonology diary for next year, which I'm pretty sure I have a copy of right here. This is the one. So if you buy that, if you pre-order it, I'm giving it away to everybody who pre-orders this. It's going to be a 90-minute masterclass, and it's going to be all about the new moon eclipse. It's actually going to be all about eclipses, but with a focus on the new moon eclipse, because it's going to be on the day of the new moon eclipse, and we're going to be making some super powerful intentions. It's free to everybody who pre-orders my diary. So if you have a friend who you think needs to come and set some really powerful intentions for now and for the next 6 months, please tell them about the masterclass. If you buy more than one copy of the diary, all you have to do is send us your receipt, and we will give you 2 places on the masterclass. So in that way, you'll be able to buy one for a friend, you know, because it may well be that, you know, maybe you think your mum could use it, or your kid could use it, or your best friend or your sister or whatever. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be filled with Shakti because I'm doing this fantastic mantra course. And yeah, it's for anybody who wants to learn how to work with the magical new moon eclipse, which is coming, which is the primo time, I would say, almost of the year. Like, there's probably a few other times this year when it's as powerful. But it's a really powerful eclipse at a really powerful energetic time, and we're going to create some really powerful collective energy in this masterclass. So if you haven't signed up, The link is on the description on Facebook, and for my Instagram friends, it's moonmessages.com/June new moon. Okay, that will now take you to the page which is live, where you can get a link to buy my diary, and if you've already got it, look in your emails and find the receipt number and just paste it in on the gold button right down the bottom of the page, and then you'll be taken to a page where you can actually register for the webinar. And we've literally had thousands of people register interest, so I hope you're all going to make it to the webinar. The webinar is going to be amazing. All right, so on that note, I am going to say I will see you back tomorrow. But what is the message of the day, guys? What's the message of the day? Own your divine power. Don't give your power away to anyone. All right? So, until tomorrow, I'll see you later.